everyone. Welcome to day 6 of Re-Engineering Your Health with me, Vidhi Berry, your health transformation coach. It's exciting to be here on day 6 to discuss weight management with protein with all of you. Now, before I go ahead, make sure you share the story on your timeline and all of you come together today to do a few activities with me. So get ready on your chats when I show you a few visual images and I ask you, and I want instant reactions from all of you on what you think. Before that, when we are talking about weight, I think everyone here pops up with weight loss in their head. There's a bubble that goes weight loss, and weight loss has a very, very negative impact in our head. So the first thing I want you to do is scratch that word lost out, because weight management means staying in a comfortable place where your body enjoys what it's eating, your senses enjoy and stay happy with the right kind of food nutrition, mind nutrition, movement nutrition. So that's what we are here to talk about today. And before we embark on this journey, a few questions I wanted to take up from yesterday. A couple of questions from Shreya and Kavita, where they mentioned that tell us how much fat we can use, since you asked us to make yummy kali dal and different kinds of bakes. I would always say never go in an entire meal more than 1 tablespoon. Whatever that is, whether it's ghee, it's homemade butter, it's a little bit of cheese, don't go over a tablespoon. So that's your thumb rule. Of course, that's still being very generous for people with some lifestyle diseases, but it is still in the safe range. So that's where we will stay with the fats in the 3-meal challenge. And thank you so much. I'm overwhelmed with how much you're sharing with me, how you've started these challenges and you're doing with the different recipes that I have recommended. So it's great to hear your stories. Keep sending them to my inbox. I'm excited to see how you all are putting your culinary talents to use. Now, without much ado, I want to point out a very, very simple trick where everybody in lockdown is wondering, what do I do about tummy that seems to, whatever I do doesn't go in, it seems to bloat, it seems to kind of be ballooning, even though I'm trying to be strict with myself, even though I'm controlling myself. So the simplest thing that you can do, and some of you might feel that you need to be a little flexible, but I'm going to make it very, very basic for you. Whatever might be your physical condition, we are, all of us, having a lot of screen time these days. A lot of us are watching Netflix, or we are definitely sitting sedentary for more than 2 hours a day. Whatever we might be doing. And if we are identifying with what I just said, you all can do a simple posture you did as a child. Now you might find it slightly difficult at this age, but there are hacks to get to it. What is that posture? It's the posture where you might see someone waiting at a train station with a newspaper open, sitting in full squat, as if there is a tiny stool under his buttock area. I think you all get a visual of what I'm talking about. And many of us are thinking, how am I going to get to that? Because either my tummy comes in the way or I can't balance myself. So I like to call it the ready to do a frog jump squat posture, and to sit pretty and comfortable in that is a challenge. A lot of us can manage it, but we don't try to do it. Start with 5 minutes, and it's really not exercise. Now, how does this benefit you? It's very, very simple. If your tummy muscles are worked in without you thinking that you're exercising, you're likely to stay in a posture rather than me saying do a plank, do some jumping jacks. Of course, I'm going to get to that too. But when we're just sitting in a posture and going about our daily ways, we're not going to feel the pressure of, did I do 5 minutes of exercise? Did I do 1 hour of exercise? You're just sitting in a posture. And what it actually does is it trains your internal core muscles to just tighten up. It reduces your hunger pangs, and it completely tightens that area where you now don't have that much space anymore to keep stuffing food in. So you will really learn to zip it up if you can do this simple trick. If you can't get to that posture, how do we make a quick hack to get to that posture? You can ask somebody at home to help hold your hand forward while you go into a squat and balance you there. Even if that's further difficult, the other hack is put 2 cushions. First start with sitting on those 2 cushions, being in a frog jump posture. Start with doing a little computer work on that. Then build, build, build. I know it looks funny, but if a whole family is doing it together and everyone's ready to do a frog jump, then it becomes normal. So it's about normalizing the abnormal in times like this. And it's as simple as that, to shrink your stomach muscles, tighten your core. So that's a very, very simple hack. And when you do that, automatically you will push your hunger forward. You will push your hunger maybe 1 or 2 hours forward. And after the first 5 minutes, eventually it's going to be seamless. The first 3 days are painful. I always tell people, whenever doing a movement, mindfulness or nutrition change, push past the first 3 to 5 days of pain. As simple as that. So that's my first hack for you today. Start practicing that, and really, really tremendous results come when, guess what? How much time do you need to spend in this? And we're getting a question about knees. Mess with your knees? Absolutely not. This is a very, very scientific posture, because you're not really squatting up and down. You're staying there. Yes, like I said, first 3 to 5 days, you're going to feel some serious discomfort. Some people, however, do have some serious ailments with their joints and knees. I'm not 100% recommending it for them, but anyone under the age of 60 to 70 or anyone above that age who's used to sitting down can absolutely do it without worry. This is not the same as sitting on the floor. It's a very, very different posture, and the more you practice, the stronger your thigh muscles and your core muscles get. So yes, you have those few days which will be a little treacherous, and we will push past that. Now coming to the next stages of this topic that I've taken, weight management with protein. I'm going to introduce something to you today that exists out there within you as hormones, but we haven't really thought about it in a methodological manner. And that means DOSE. D-O-S-E. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. You've heard of all 4 hormones, haven't you? Dopamine is that happiness hormone that gives you a rush. It also happens when you're on social media, getting lots of screen time or playing a video game. It also is triggered by dark chocolate. So please don't refrain from having some of that dark chocolate and enjoying it right now. Oxytocin is a hormone released by a lot of close physical social interaction. And please, the fact that you have your family close to you huddled up, make sure you make full use of that. Next, we have serotonin, and today I'm going to let out some secrets of 1 or 2 very, very powerful foods that secrete serotonin. Serotonin is a mood elevator, and as a mood elevator, serotonin tends to balance your hunger cues. So dip in serotonin levels increase your need for food and your hunger cues. Maintained serotonin levels will absolutely balance your hunger cues and can actually act as an appetite reducer. So when you're sitting at home and constantly feeling that you need to keep eating, there is one magic food that's going to help you with that. Finally, endorphins. So that's the first answer I'm going to give you today. What do I do to keep my endorphins going? And I'm sure many of you have heard of what I'm going to name right now. But there's a very, very simple exercise set anyone can do anywhere in the world, in the tiniest room that you might be locked into right now, without company, with a family. And yes, based on age, from the smallest to the oldest in the household, the sets of exercises will vary. But what I'm going to tell you to do to get your endorphins going right now is Tabata. T-A-B-A-T-A. Just to go through that concept really quickly, what is Tabata? It's high intensity, short spurts of exercises. Very simply, you exercise and do a high cardio, completely age appropriate and strength appropriate for you for 20 seconds. Breathe for 10 seconds. Again, repeat another exercise for 20 seconds. Breathe for 10 seconds. So this constant back and forth, 20 seconds of cardio, 10 seconds of rest, 20 seconds of cardio, 10 seconds of rest. Repeat, pick 4 exercises. So I'm taking a generic 4 exercises, maybe jumping jacks, on the spot jogging, squats, burpees. Not everyone should be doing burpees, but for whoever this is applicable to, anyone between the age range of maybe 10 to I would say 30 can absolutely do this without thinking, and I have 70-year-olds who do it too, but need a certain level of flexibility and fitness. But whatever the age group you might be in, you absolutely can find the age appropriate exercises, and thank God YouTube has plenty of videos to do this. So Tabata is something you will love. It will energize you, and all you need is a minimum of 5 minutes, which means you pick 4 exercises and you repeat them just 3 times, and you're already hitting 5 minutes. That's all you have to do in a 20-second, 10-second, 20-second, 10-second. So it's absolutely excellent for the weight management, better than any other exercise out there, and it is more time efficient. I love yoga, but Tabata definitely is more time efficient. So when is the right time to do it? 5 minutes before breakfast, 5 minutes before lunch, 5 minutes before dinner. The ideal number to hit is 5 minutes in the morning before breakfast, 5 minutes in the afternoon before lunch, and 5 minutes in the evening before dinner. This is the ideal way to do it. I promise you, you will feel flexible, you will feel strong, and you will not need to exercise a whole lot more, whatever the age group, and if you are eating within the ranges of what we've spoken about. That's all you need to tuck that tummy in and stay at a happy, energetic weight and self. So we get endorphins going through exercise, and this is the most brilliant way of doing it when you're in lockdown. Now when you're exercising and you're doing high intensity, your body absolutely needs some amount of protein. And I think all of us have ideas in our head when we think protein. What does protein do? And what role does it have? It absolutely repairs your cells. It helps make and regenerate the cells. But what it also does is it controls your hunger. What kind of protein we eat does vary from your cultural experience, your taste buds, where you live, what your lifestyle is, and what else? Whether you are a vegetarian, meat eater, whatever your preferences are. So I'm going to give you a few clues on how to do that and what are my favorite go-to unsung heroes when it comes to protein. So this is what we are going to talk about today in terms of weight management with protein. How does DOSE tie into this? DOSE. DOSE ties into this is because you are going to have to secrete all of these 4 hormones, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, to manage that weight. Because if you're not in a comfortable, happy, mood balanced state to be able to secrete the right hormones and have the correct hunger cues. You will always have hunger cues that are above your need, which means that the input of external nutrition will always be more than the output of your body. Output in terms of movement, exercise, calorie burn, and energy burn. So if that's mismatched, then there is no weight balance or management. We're talking about weight balance or management for the right weight in your body type. And of course that's individualized, and you will know where it is because you will feel stronger and fitter. And whatever that weight might be, you don't have to look a certain way. The idea of what you want to look like is in your head, and that visual is something I invite you to create. So that's something I want you all to work on one by one. Now, when we think of weight management, there are visuals that come in our head. So I randomly asked an aunt today, what do you feel when I say weight management? What are the foods that come to your head? And she instantly closed her eyes and she said, boiled vegetables, steamed food. And then I said, if I say fulfill your senses and eat something, what comes to your head? She said, that really lovely ice cream cake I had in that restaurant the other day. I said, so clearly when you think of weight management, that ice cream is not coming in, correct? She said, yeah. So you see, visually we have no connection. So every time we say weight loss in our head or weight management in our head, the image that pops up is so unsatiable. Someone's saying French fries here, so I love that. And obviously when you think French fries, you are absolutely not being able to relate that to weight management or weight loss or weight control. So you see perception and the visuals you have are where the blocks start to come in. because you are thinking of everything that is yummy, has the extra fried fat, and you are not able to translate that. So today I'm going to share something with you. I hope you can see it on the screen. There's an image and I want you to be ready on the chat to tell me what this image is, what it looks like, and I'm hoping you haven't seen this before. So have a quick look and quickly on the chat write to me whatever you feel. Just really quickly, I'm going to show you this image. I hope you can see it properly. Getting it close to the screen. Quickly tell me what this image is. I'm giving you 5 seconds. It's a black and white image. If it inspires any emotions, you can see what's in there. Just quickly tell me what you can see. Great. So I'm guessing there was few ideas that came in. It was a geometric pattern. Any ideas and answers, you're most welcome to share it on the chat. Now, clearly that was a black and white image. It was a geometric pattern. Certain visual ideas came in your head. Do you think I can change this into an animal that inspires a certain emotion into you if I just put color into this? Someone said horror movie. Great. What else? Anything else you want to share with me? Now, I'm changing this image really quickly by just purely adding color. I'm just adding color to this image. Okay? So I'm seriously adding color to this image, and you're going to, someone saying virus, someone saying watermelon. Completely different perceptions. Thank you for sharing that. That adds so much to this. We still haven't got the answer. So have virus, watermelon, Scorpio. What else? Okay, now let me show you the color in this image, and you are absolutely going to be enthralled, horrified, shocked. Two seconds. Can you all see what this is? And I'm sure some of you are jumping out of your screens right now. Some of you are okay with this, and some of you are absolutely horrified by the fact that I've shown this to you. It was a black and white image, and now it's very clearly, I've put yellow in it, and you can see a nice fat snake. Yeah, and some of you are absolutely disgusted by that, and you are churning back, of course, because of the camera. We are not able to see it, but everyone can see a snake now very clearly. What did I do? And we have an oh my god reaction. Earlier I had shriveled up reactions. Why did I show you this? I'm talking about weight management, right? Showing you a snake, showing you abstract geometrical patterns. What's going on here? So someone is horrified by this image, someone is oh my god by this image, and someone thinks this is beautiful. We all have different visual perceptions, and the minute I added color, you had an emotion attached to it. The black and white didn't, and the color made you associate. But actually it's just geometric pattern with color. You have an association based on habit. You have an association based on habit. So this is the point I'm trying to make. Your visual, your association based on habit is making your emotions think up this is a snake, and all of us have seen this image of a snake. So we know what a snake looks like. So we transfer this into our reality. We transfer this into our reality. Now, if your visual perceives food in a certain way, and you have fear, disgust, disdain, unpalatable emotions attached to that, whatever you try, you will not be able to put that down. This is where the challenge comes. You see, people who are looking at the snake and saying beautiful creature can absolutely work with that snake, be around that snake, even hold that snake. People who are terrified can't even look at it. We have two different reactions. This is the same reaction we have to food, and different kinds of food. There are people who look at that piece of samosa and absolutely cannot resist it, and there are people who look at that piece of samosa and their stomach starts to turn and they absolutely push it away because they are disgusted by it. It's aversion, whether it is family habit created, whether they have self-created it. How have they created it? Because there is an instinctual reaction, there is a visual reaction, and the emotions tie into each other very simply. If you have fear instilled in you since childhood that the snake is going to bite you, you have fear looking at it even without experience. Whether you had lived vicariously through somebody else's experience or your parents told you, there is fear created. And for others who think it's beautiful, that association wasn't created. So the same way, if you have a negative association with foods that are associated with weight management and you are thinking steam boiled, your mind absolutely cannot accept that food, however hard you try. So if I give you a platter of salad, whatever I do to it, you're still going to think this is weight loss boiled food and you will absolutely not accept it. So the mind has to change first. So today I'm going to challenge you to do that little change. And how are you going to do it? My 3 favorite proteins I'm going to list out, and why I have chosen those is because they are the unsung heroes of foods that absolutely manage your hunger cues, balance it out, give you the energy to do the tabata you want to do without putting too much strain, and very, very simply cooked. I live in Kolkata, so all of these 3 things are available easily here. I believe that at least 2 or 3 will be available to all of you, and you can easily make it a culinary experience so that you break out of the mold of the steamed and boiled boring to make it exciting, novel, using comfort food, making it novel and presenting it in a new way to your visual senses, to your tongue and your emotional experience, to change that narrative within your head, which was earlier inspiring disgust or fear, now starts to inspire health, beauty, nourishment. That's what we are going to work on today. And the first item I want to talk about is a thing called horse gram. I'm sure many of you have heard of it. To me, it's the unsung hero of lentils. Lentils are great in terms of protein. India as a country is a very, very lentil protein based country. And of course we have others, but I would say more than 70% of our population depends on lentils for their protein, and it's absolutely essential as a building block of your body to secrete the right enzymes and do the repair work and the strength, the muscle building work in your body. So what do we do about horse gram? Horse gram is just a dal, right? So you can cook it like a dal, very, very simple. But if I wanted to change my visual, what would I do in that? I would make a lentil soup. I would make a lentil and yam, lentil and potato frittata. What else could I do? I could make the Indian lentil pancake with our green chutneys. I could do crispy tortillas with the lentil, horse gram, which is also called kulthi dal in India, and make it like a Mexican wrap. Instead of using the kidney beans, use the horse gram with the sour cream, with the guacamole, with the little bit of rice and salsa and a little bit of salad. So it is as variant and as diverse as that. And the minute you identify the food that's yummy for you in your savory or sweet item, especially savory for horse gram, you absolutely translate it into that, visualize it, create it, and it's right there. You can have it up to 2 to 4 times a week. And the biggest benefit comes to those who are suffering from any kind of gut or kidney issues. Excellent, excellent for kidney stones and kidney health. So horse gram, like I said, is an unsung hero. So when I went to pick it up from my favorite kirana shop, the guy said, "Why are you even buying this? We eat this in the village to cure our kidney stones. It's, village man's food." I said, you know what? All of you have the right herbs to cure yourselves. You know what to eat and what to go to for all of this basic stuff. And we've lost all of that knowledge in cities. So let's get back to that basic knowledge, because almost all villagers know what kulthi dal is, and they very, very easily adapt and use it in their regular cuisine 1 to 3 times a week. So let's start doing that in a very, very seamless manner. And I invite you all to make recipes, including main courses, salads, soups, lentil frittatas, lentil pancakes with horse gram. It's a very diverse legume. So please share on this chat line, on this video, and let's create together. The next one, which I would say, add to the dark chocolate that made you secrete dopamine. So if I make a dark chocolate mousse, whoever loves confectionery is going to have a mouth-watering night now, and just chop up or powder the pumpkin seeds. They have sweetness. They're going to elevate your mood levels. There's serotonin being secreted there, and it controls your hunger cue. So I have my dark chocolate mousse. with pumpkin seeds sprinkled on it, anything between 1 to 2 teaspoons. Of course, it's very variable. You can add it to your salad as well. You can add it to your yogurts. You can add it to your breakfast, and your breakfast can be your millet grain porridge also. But if I want to visualize and I want to have that emotion of satiation, and I'm a dessert person, I will do it to my cakes, I will do it to my mousses and my souffles. So pumpkin seeds is that other magical food when it comes to proteins, which is one of the highest protein levels and secretes the perfect enzymes to have that hormonal control on your hunger. So I would recommend going for these two. Pumpkin seeds can be consumed every day. Horse gram can be consumed at least 3 to 4 times a week with different recipes, so that you have the diversity in your diet and you can adapt it to any of the different cuisines like we talked about yesterday. So proteins are fun now. Now coming to, a lot of people complain that I talk a lot about vegan foods. So my third favorite for today is going to be Asian sea bass. In Bengal we call it bhetki fish, and I chose it because it has the taste beauty in terms of vegetarian food if I compare it to potatoes. Why potatoes? Potatoes of course are not protein rich foods, but this fish is. And how you can use it is that it lends itself to be cooked in many different ways, just like potatoes. It's versatile. You can make a curry out of it. You can wrap it up in banana leaf with mustard, the favorite Bengali flavor. You can make it fried, you can make it baked. You can do a whole lot of steaming with it and add different sauces and flavors. So for all you meat lovers there, this is my favorite protein for you. Would I recommend a whole lot of other meats? I would stick to lean white meats. If you want to keep the fat and the sugar in your body and the cholesterol in control, stick to white lean meats, and my favorite for today being Asian sea bass. So the 3 foods that I picked for you today are very simply bringing your hunger in control while giving you the necessary dose for protein. And how you can combine it into a meal is simply do a bhekti paturi inside a banana leaf and add some mustard flavor to it, add maybe a scoop of rice, and have a chocolate souffle for dessert sprinkled with pumpkin seeds. If you want to do a vegetarian, stick to a yummy soup with the lentil frittatas and do a banana bread with pumpkin seeds cooked into it. So you can create a whole lot with the proteins I've mentioned for you, being completely sense fulfilled. And what else are we going to do today? We are going to see the usual images that we see that instill emotions in us when it comes to food, and completely become aware, like we became aware with the black and white snake and then the yellow and black snake. They were both the same snake. I just changed the colors in the images. So become completely in tune with what are the reactions when I see images. Where are these reactions coming from? They're coming very deep from your subconscious. And that's what you have to work on. So when it comes to food, what you are tasting is not always truly what you are thinking. We have been told certain things are sweet, certain things are salty. But are you actually experiencing that from your tongue, or you're using your head and your visuals to say that it is? Remember, we did the taste bud experiment and we always believe that the mango is just sweet, but actually it activates your pungent taste buds, which was right behind the sweet one, much more than the sweet. So my request to you today is to become aware of how am I going to secrete my dose hormones, how am I going to start feeling pleasure through food, how am I going to declutter all of these emotions that I get from when I think about weight control and protein foods as sad, boring, disgusting, so I can't accept them, to pleasure producing food. So that I accept them, I embrace them, they become a daily part of my diet. And while I'm thinking about all of this, I'm going to sit in that frog jump ready squat posture every day. And I want you to send to me on this chat, in my inbox, where is your starting point and where do you reach in 1 week? If you started 5 minutes, did you get to 20 minutes by the end of this week? If you started at 15 minutes, did you get to 1 hour by the end of 2 weeks? So let's take this challenge up, because wherever you start, push past the point of pain. Sit in that posture because that's even easier than Tabata. It's easier than Surya Namaskar. It takes absolutely no effort. Yes, there's balance involved. So like I said, put cushions till you have the balance. And trust me, in 5 days, you'll be able to feel like Superwoman or Superman, because you absolutely couldn't balance the first day. You were falling backward or forward. And now in 3 days, you can balance. It's just practice. It's that easy. And all I'm asking you to do is sit in that posture, work on your computer or watch television. And finally, you're all going to try out Tabata and share with us, based on your age appropriate and flexibility appropriate self, what you found was right and what were the challenges coming up. I look forward to all of this sharing from you. Please share it as your stories on FOMO share it on your timeline, and make sure you follow this page for more on your diet, on your health and nutrition. And please add to suggestions in terms of recipes, because the more you are creative, not only are you going to change that habit reaction that you have in your gut, you're going to help an entire community of us to change it. So the challenge for you today is to create the right visuals with food, and make sure you share, all of you share, how you are able to manifest the frog jump squats and how many minutes you're able to do it. So I'm excited. I'm going to share with you that I started with 10 minutes. Today I can do hours a day. I don't even feel it. I absolutely don't. I know you might say that I'm at a certain fitness level, so I can, but trust me, the first 10 minutes when I did it the first time was painful. It hurt my thighs for a while, for a few days. And then you kept doing it every day to push past the point of pain. So that's our challenge for today, along with introducing these proteins. And yes, some of us will have individual dietary needs and allergies, which we will work on together. So make sure you like the FOMO page and turn on your notifications to receive all the alerts. Send me all your answers, views, questions that you have, and take on the challenges and respond to us. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and tomorrow is going to be a favorite topic: the right results. Thank you so much to all of you for being here today. See you tomorrow on day 6.